Welcome, everybody, and thank you for tuning in to this episode of Old Line Politics, your source for all things government news in the state of Maryland. Today is Monday, January 16th, 2023. In this episode, I'll be recapping Week 1 of the Maryland General Assembly, which began last week, as well as covering Governor Hogan's final farewell address. So let's get started. Governor Hogan last Tuesday gave his final farewell address from the steps of the State House in Annapolis. Let's listen.
240 years ago, right here in this old Senate chamber of our historic State House, General George Washington relinquished command of the Continental Forces, fulfilling what he called an indispensable duty to formally hand over power and commending the interests of our dearest country to the protection of Almighty God. It was here, in this very chamber, that the Revolutionary War ended with the ratification of the Treaty of Paris, making this very State House our nation's first peacetime capital.
He then went on to welcome Governor-elect Moore and Lieutenant Governor-elect Miller, whose administrations will begin with their swearing in on Wednesday, January 18th. From there, he went on to highlight his administration's achievements over the past 8 years, noting the biggest economic turnaround in America while leaving the state in a, quote, far better fiscal position than ever before in history, end quote. He acknowledged his pro-jobs, pro-business policy, stating that his administration eliminated or rewrote thousands of job-killing regulations. He was also proud that his administration cut taxes 8 years in a row by $4.7 billion, turning a $5.1 billion deficit into the largest surplus in state history. Other major achievements he mentioned were the record investments in education for 8 years in a row, funding the Chesapeake Bay restoration efforts to historic levels, investments in roads and transit as well as ports and airports, and the protection of healthcare coverage for Marylanders, while providing lower insurance rates for the first time in a decade. He also mentioned that safety was a big concern for his administration, mentioning the actions taken to protect police, firefighters, first responders, military, and veterans, the protection of protesters in Baltimore while being strict on violence during the 2015 riots, as well as aid during the pandemic recovery. He then went on to mention a few things that still needs to be done. He commented on the homicide and violent crime rates that continue to surge in Baltimore City and said, quote, more must be done to get the most violent criminals off the streets, end quote. He also said that more must be done to raise academic standards to ensure that every child in Maryland has access to a world-class education. He finished up by calling on leaders in both political parties to take urgent action to address these challenges. He finished up by speaking directly to the citizens of Maryland, expressing gratitude and appreciation for his time in office. Let's listen.
Tonight, in this sacred place, where the great experiment of American democracy was literally born, I will proudly say that my faith in this country and my optimism for her future has never wavered. And that's because of you, the people of Maryland, who I've had the good fortune to meet at ball games, businesses, and schools, downtowns, and main streets. I wish that all Marylanders and all Americans could see what I've been able to see up close every single day over these past 8 years. That deep down, there truly is far more that unites us than divides us. So this one last time, from the bottom of my heart, thank you and farewell. Serving you has been the honor of a lifetime. Together, we truly have changed Maryland for the better. May God continue to bless the great state of Maryland and the United States of America.
To Governor Hogan, on behalf of all Maryland citizens, we want to thank you for your service and for all the great things you've done for our state of Maryland. We wish you the best of luck in whatever your future holds moving forward. On Wednesday, the Maryland General Assembly convened for the first day of the 2023 session. Over in the Senate, they convened at noon, where a call to order was given by the Secretary of the Senate, Nicole M. Zander. Their first order of business was to swear in all of the 46 senators. Congratulations to all. Their next order of business was to elect a president pro tempore. Pro tempore is Latin, which means for the time being. This individual will preside over the Senate in the absence of a Senate president. Senator Melanie Griffith out of District 25 in Prince George's County had previously been the president pro tem, and she gave her nominating speech to Senator Malcolm Augustine, District 47 in Prince George's County. Seconding the nomination was Senator Mary Washington out of District 43 in Baltimore County and City. Senator Augustine was unanimously elected to President pro tem with a vote of 46-0 and took the oath of office administered by the Secretary of the Senate. Congratulations to Senator Augustine. From there, they went on to elect the President of the Senate. Senator Brian Feldman out of District 15 in Montgomery County nominated Senator William C. Ferguson IV, District 46 in Baltimore City, for the President of the Senate. Seconding the nomination was Senator Michael A. Jackson out of District 27 in PG, Charles, and Calvert County. With a unanimous vote of 46-0, Senator Ferguson was elected to the President of the Senate and took his oath of office administered by the President pro tem. Congratulations to President Ferguson. From there, they elected their desk officers, which included the Secretary of the Senate, Assistant Secretary, reading clerks, and a few others. Before adjourning, they entered 130 pre-filed bills into first reading and established hearing dates for 32 of those bills, most of which are in the Finance Committee and the Budget and Taxation Committee. Over in the House of Delegates, they too convened at noon, where the chief clerk began by swearing in all 140 members. Congratulations to all the delegates. From there, they moved on to elect their Speaker pro tempore. Delegate Edith J. Patterson, out of District 28 in Charles County, nominated Cherie Sample Hughes, District 37 Alpha in Dorchester and Wicomico County, for Speaker pro tem. Seconding the nomination was Criselda Valderrama out of District 26 in Prince George's County. With a unanimous vote, Delegate Sample Hughes was elected to Speaker pro tem and was sworn in by the Chief Clerk. Congratulations to Delegate Sample Hughes. From there, they went on to elect their Speaker of the House. Delegate Jocelyn A. Penna-Melinek out of District 21 in Prince George's and Anne Arundel counties nominated Delegate Adrienne A. Jones, District 10 in Baltimore County, for Speaker of the House. Delegate Ariana B. Kelly out of District 16 in Montgomery County seconded the nomination, and with a unanimous vote, Delegate Jones was elected Speaker of the House. Congratulations, Speaker Jones. From there, they went on to appoint other positions such as the House Majority Leader, Deputy Majority Leader, Assistant Majority Leader, Majority Whip, Deputy Speaker Pro Tem, Assistant Speaker Pro Tem, Parliamentarian, and Committee Chairs. Before adjourning, they entered 123 pre-filed bills into first reading. On Thursday, the Senate began session at 10 a.m. and began with Senator Susan C. Lee out of District 16 in Montgomery County presenting a resolution. The resolution was for the Korean American Organizations of Maryland, Korean American Day, celebrating the 120th anniversary of Korean immigration to the United States and the 70th anniversary of the Republic of Korea and U.S. alliance. The resolution went on to be adopted with a vote of 46-0. Senator Brian J. Feldman out of District 15 in Montgomery County also presented a resolution. This resolution was for the Quince Orchard High School football team in Gaithersburg, winning the Maryland 2022 Class 4A State Football Championships. This resolution also went on to be adopted with a vote of 46-0. Congratulations to the Quince Orchard High School football team for your championship title. From there, they entered Senate Bills 131 through Senate Bills 134 into first reading before being assigned to their committees. Before adjourning, there were a few committee reassignments. Senate Bill 30 went from the Judicial Proceedings Committee into the Education, Energy, and Environment Committee, and Senate Bill 123 was reassigned to both the Judicial Proceedings and Education, Energy, and Environment Committees. Over at the House, they also convened at 10 a.m., where Delegate Linda Foley out of District 15 in Montgomery County presented their resolution to the Quince Orchard High School football team for their title win. Delegate David Moon out of District 20 in Montgomery County presented their resolution for the Korean American Organizations of Maryland. They finished up their session by making appointments for the remaining open positions, those being the Minority Leader, Minority Whip, Assistant Minority Leader, Assistant Minority Whip, the Deputy Minority Whip, and a few others. On Friday, the Senate convened briefly at 10:30 a.m., operating in a pro forma session under Senate Rule 5A. A pro forma session is a brief meeting of a legislative body, typically lasting only a few minutes, during which no formal business is conducted. Normally, these sessions are often used to fulfill a procedural requirement or to demonstrate that the legislature is still in session, even if no actual work is being done. During this pro forma session, they introduced Senate Bills 135 to Senate Bill 140. They also introduced a Senate Bond Initiative Number 1, also known as the Legislative Bond Initiative. The two bonds that were introduced were for the Glen Arden Police Facility in Prince George's County with an amount of $6 million, and the second being for the town of Capitol Heights Community Center in Prince George's County with an amount of $700,000. Before adjourning, they also reassigned Senate Bill 48 to the Finance Committee. The House also wrapped up a week with a brief session, convening at 11 a.m., where they introduced House Bill 124 to 144 into first reading. The Legislative Black Caucus briefed that they held their elections the previous day for their executive committee and announced their new members. Congratulations to all. All right, so that about wraps up week 1 here at the Maryland General Assembly. We have a few important dates coming up this week. On Wednesday, the 18th, we have the inauguration of the governor and lieutenant governor, so you will definitely not want to miss that. On Thursday, the 20th, there are about 34 bills which are scheduled to have their committee hearings that day. And also by Friday, that is the final date for the governor to introduce the budget bill and capital budget bill. So great stuff happening this week. I encourage everyone to check out the Maryland General Assembly website for more information regarding important dates, legislative movement, and session details. There, you can create an account with your email address and save specific bills that interest you and receive updates as they move through the legislative process. I plan on dropping a new episode like this one each week, so please like, subscribe, and follow Old Line Politics on social media so you don't miss out. Thanks for tuning in. Till next time.